Iceland is one of the most incredible countries we've ever visited, but it's also one of the easiest places to waste money if you're not prepared. We flew there for just £65, yet our full trip still ended up costing thousands. After driving 1,920 miles around Iceland in winter, we quickly realised most tourists make the exact same mistakes. Some cost money, some cost valuable time, and some can seriously affect your trip. So before you book anything, here are 10 Iceland tourist mistakes to avoid. We're Callum and Ryan from Icelandic Adventure. We spent 10 days driving the ring road around Iceland in January, and we've added some useful links in the description below from companies we personally used or recommend. That includes car hire, camper van hire, winter gear rental, and the Aurora app we use ourselves. So if anything helps you plan your trip, feel free to check those out below. Now, Reykjavik is brilliant. Great food, nice atmosphere, colourful streets, coffee shops, bars. It's a lovely capital city. But one of the biggest mistakes tourists make is staying there for the entire trip. Because Iceland's real magic is outside of Reykjavik. The waterfalls, the glaciers, the black sand beaches, the mountain roads, the tiny fishing villages, the raw open landscapes. If you only stay in the city, you'll have a nice break, but you won't see the Iceland most people dream about. Even hiring a car for just a couple of days can completely transform your trip. Iceland has some great food, but eating out every day gets expensive fast. A burger meal can easily cost £20. Pizza, similar. A sit-down dinner for two with drinks can easily become £70 or more without trying. Do that every day and your budget disappears quickly. What we'd recommend is mixing it up. Use supermarkets like Bonus, Kronan or Netto. Buy breakfast bits, sandwiches, snacks, drinks. Then treat yourself to proper meals every few days. You still enjoy Icelandic food without spending a fortune. This one is huge. Tourists massively underestimate Iceland weather. You can wake up to sunshine and be driving through snow an hour later. Conditions can change incredibly quickly. Strong winds, ice, heavy rain, low visibility, and especially in the winter. Never just look out the hotel window and assume you're fine. Check the forecast daily, check road conditions, and always have a backup plan. We also recommend the Hello Aurora app, especially if you want Northern Lights updates, forecasts, and sightings. That's linked below as well. Because in Iceland, the weather decides what happens, not your itinerary. A lot of people plan Iceland like a city break. They pack every day with 10 stops, 3 waterfalls, 2 beaches, a lagoon, museums, then a 4-hour drive. But Iceland distances are deceptive. Places may look close on a map, but weather, roads, parking and stops all add time. Some of our best moments happened when we slowed down, stopping at a random viewpoint, having lunch with a mountain view, watching the sky change, enjoying the drive. You don't need to tick off every attraction. Iceland is better experienced slowly. Many tourists never go north, and we think it's a mistake. Northern Iceland felt quieter, calmer, and less crowded. Akureyri is a fantastic town. Beautiful setting, great cafes and bars, great vibe. Then you've got Husavik, geothermal areas, and one of our favourite lagoons, the Forest Lagoon. The north feels like a completely different side of Iceland. So if you've got the time, don't just do the south coast and leave. Now, a lot of tourists automatically book the Blue Lagoon first, and yes, it's iconic, but it's not your only option. There are now loads of lagoon choices across Iceland. The Sky Lagoon, Forest Lagoon, Secret Lagoon, Lagaris Lagoon, and more. Some are cheaper, some are quieter, some are more scenic, and some more relaxing. So don't just book the most famous one first. Choose the one that suits your route and your budget. Now, if you're hiring a car or a camper van, transport costs matter. We drove 1,920 miles around Iceland. That's a lot of fuel. And fuel in Iceland can be expensive. Many people price flights and hotels, then forget petrol completely. If you're hiring a normal car, we'd recommend checking out Blue Car Rental, which is one of Iceland's most trusted rental companies. And if you're doing a road trip like we did, we used Camp Easy for our camper van and had a really good experience. Both are linked below if you're comparing options. And make sure you always factor in fuel, parking, tunnel tolls if relevant, mileage and extra detours. Still worth it? Absolutely. But budget properly. Now, you don't need expensive expedition gear, but you do need the right layers. Waterproof outer layer, warm mid layers, hat, gloves, and good footwear, because Iceland wind cuts through bad clothing very quickly. And once you're cold and wet, even beautiful places become miserable. We also recommend Iceland camping equipment in Reykjavik, if you'd rather rent bulky winter gear instead of packing it. They're brilliant and they're linked below too. That can save suitcase space and money. So everyone wants to see the Northern Lights, but many tourists assume they're guaranteed. They're not. You need darkness, clear skies, solar activity and luck. We were lucky enough to witness an incredible display, but many people waste evenings randomly driving around with no plan. Use forecast apps, watch cloud cover and get away from city lights, and most importantly, be patient. And enjoy the experience either way. If they appear, amazing. If not, Iceland still gives you plenty. This is probably the biggest myth. Yes, Iceland can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be. There are endless free waterfalls, free scenic stops, free hikes, free beaches, free viewpoints, cheap supermarket meals, reasonable guest house if booked early, and cheap flights if timed right. Some of our favourite moments in Iceland cost absolutely nothing. Just standing somewhere incredible, taking it in and being there. Iceland is genuinely one of the most amazing places we've ever visited. And avoiding these mistakes can save you money, save stress and make your trip much better. If you're planning your own trip, all of our recommended links are in the description below, including car hire, camper van hire, Aurora forecast app and winter gear rental. All services we've personally used or would genuinely recommend. If this video helped you, subscribe for more honest Iceland travel guides and let us know in the comments, what do you most want to know before visiting Iceland?
Is eating out in Iceland really as bad as everyone makes it out to be? The common belief is that it is so expensive, but is it really? Let's talk prices, what you can actually expect to pay, and how to eat well in Iceland without breaking the bank. Yes, meals and drinks can be pricey, but if you know where to look, it's not as bad as people think. Across the city, there are loads of places that offer happy hours where food and selected drinks are discounted, usually for a few hours in the afternoon or in the early evening, so if you're trying to do Iceland on a budget, it is absolutely possible. A basic burger or pizza will cost you around 3,000 to 4,000 ISK, which is roughly 18 to 25 pound. And honestly, we're from the UK, so 18 pound for a burger meal in a restaurant isn't a shock anymore. That's why I don't think Iceland is as bad as everyone makes it out to be. You just have to be a bit wise about where and when you eat. A main course in a nice restaurant, talk about 35 to 40 quid. And drinks, a pint can cost up to 10 pounds, so definitely make the most of the happy hour when you can. Even a soft drink might be around £4, which isn't that bad to us. But here's the twist. There's no tipping culture. Service charge is already included and it is not expected to tip extra, so at least you save a few quid in there. If you're wondering where to actually eat, we found some gems. First up, Svarta Café. It is a cozy little spot known for its soup served in a bread bowl, and honestly it is incredible. We absolutely love it here, and it'll cost about £35 each for a soup each and a soft drink each, but it is totally worth the experience. Then there's Bastard Brew Food, a really fun place and amazing food with a brilliant atmosphere. It is pricey, around £25 per meal, but the food is top tier. They do cocktails and even a bottomless brunch, so it's a great one for a treat night. You also have to try an Icelandic Domino's pizza. I know it sounds odd, but trust me, the pizzas here hit differently. They put like this garlic salt crust and it is unreal. If you're heading out of the city, definitely visit Frifema. They serve fresh homemade soup served inside their own greenhouse surrounded by tomato plants. It is a cool and unique experience. We also found an amazing restaurant in Etiquette that sells pizzas. We managed to get a large fries, a large pizza and 2 refillable soft drinks for just over £20. So when you're outside the main tourist areas, eating out isn't actually as expensive as what people make it out to be. And for something sweet in the city, Brewing Co is the place to go. Their cinnamon rolls are famous and you can smell them when you walk in, and believe me, they are unreal. There are also loads of street food spots and food halls around the city and offering some unlimited soup deals. A great way to warm up and fill up without spending too much. If you're feeling adventurous, you could also try fermented shark, which is considered an Icelandic delicacy. Callum did try this at Cafe Loki in Reykjavik with a shot of brennivin, which is tradition, and let's just say it is an acquired taste. In most places, food is made fresh to order, so it might take a little longer than it does back home, but it is completely worth its weight. Make sure you're kind and courteous to your servers. Manners here go a really long way. The good news is that most people in Iceland speak excellent English, and nearly all of the menus are available in English too, so don't worry about not being able to understand what's on the menu. That said, whilst it's brilliant that English is so widely spoken, it's still important to respect the local language. Icelandic is beautiful, and just making a small effort goes a long way. Even saying something really simple like tak, which means thank you, to your server will be really appreciated. Icelanders take great pride in their language, and we don't want Icelandic to fade away just because it's convenient for tourists that so many people speak English. One thing you must remember though, if you're wearing crampons or spikes on your boots, always take them off before entering a cafe, bar or restaurant. It is considered brilliant etiquette and also protects the floor. It's also polite to remove your big bulky outdoor coat when you sit down. Not only is it good manners, but it'll make you feel a lot more comfortable while you're eating. Now let's talk about how to save a bit of money, because eating out in Iceland can get expensive quite quickly. The most budget-friendly supermarkets are Bonus and Kronan, and they're basically Iceland's version of Aldi or Lidl. So if you're heading out for the day on your trip or tour, or even if you're self-driving or camping, it's a great idea to pop into these supermarkets and grab some essentials and snacks, especially for your hotel room. We always make this stop on our first day to pick up drinks and snacks for our hotel rooms, and honestly, we just love being nosy and checking out all the different crisps and sweets that you cannot get at home. We usually grab a loaf of bread, some butter and a bit of cheese or ham so we can make sandwiches or pack lunches for our road trips. It is the most budget-friendly way to do things, and it saves you a fortune compared to buying food out every day. Most hotels have a mini fridge in the room, which is great for storing your little bits and bobs, but if you visit in the winter, the outdoors is your biggest fridge. We've left our drinks on the window ledge with the windows slightly open, and we came back and they are perfectly chilled. When you're out and about, cafes and restaurants can be few and far between, especially at rural spots or on a long drive. Even at touristy destinations like Geysir and Gullfoss, there are cafes and restaurants, but they can be pricey. Making you pack lunch and taking drinks with you will save you a lot of money on your trip. Most hotels include breakfast, so fill up before heading out. Just remember, it is genuinely frowned upon to take food from out of the dining room, and most hotels will accommodate for a fee. If you're staying in an Airbnb, cooking your own meals instead of eating out every night will also save you a lot of money. And when you do want to eat out, the cheapest food you'll find is usually hot dogs, soup or street food. Outlets like food halls and 101 Reykjavik street food are all delicious and much easier on your wallet. Now, if you're vegetarian or vegan, do not worry, you are not going to struggle in Iceland. So I'm vegetarian, and when we first arrived, I was a bit worried about the things that I could eat, but honestly, it was so much easier than we expected. Most restaurants and cafes do offer at least one vegetarian or vegan option, and Reykjavik in particular has loads of places that cater specifically for plant-based diets. A lot of spots do vegetarian burgers, soups, salads, and pasta dishes, and many of the food halls do have international options. Stuff like falafel and curries and noodles. Even some of the smaller cafes and bakeries do have vegetarian-friendly soups and sandwiches. If you're staying in an Airbnb, the supermarkets here have a decent range of vegetarian and vegan ingredients too. Things like meat alternatives, plant milks, and fresh produce, which are easy to find. So if you're heading to Iceland and you are vegetarian or vegan, you will be absolutely fine. There are plenty of places to eat, and honestly, the food quality here is brilliant no matter what you go for. So yeah, eating out in Iceland can be expensive, expensive, but if you plan ahead and pick your moments, you can still eat really well without breaking the bank. There are so many amazing places to try, from cozy cafes and food halls to local favourites like Etiquette and Broyd & Co. And with a little planning, you can balance splurge meals with budget-friendly days. Honestly, we've found that mixing it up works really well. Treat yourself to a nice meal one night and then do packed lunches or supermarket snacks for the next. That way then, you will still get to enjoy the incredible food Iceland has to offer without the credit card panic at the end of your trip. If you're vegetarian or vegan, don't stress. There's plenty of choice here and most places are really accommodating. And one last tip, you don't really need to carry cash. Majority of cafes and restaurants and even small shops in Iceland do accept card payments, including contactless and Apple Pay. So you can pretty much go cash free for the whole trip. We hardly used any Icelandic krona while we were there the first time. Would you spend £25 on a burger? Let me know in the comments. Or if you've been, tell me your best Iceland food hacks. I'd love to know your go-to spots and any hidden gems we should check out next time we visit.
Planning to visit one of Iceland's famous lagoons? There are some very specific rules and bits of etiquette you'll want to know. Hi, I'm Callum, and after visiting several of Iceland's lagoons, from the Blue Lagoon to Sky Lagoon and the Secret Lagoon and a few local ones, I've learned there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do it. So if you're planning your first soak in those steamy turquoise waters, this is everything you need to know before you go. The rules, the unspoken etiquette, and the little things no one tells you. Let's start with the most important one, and it's non-negotiable. You have to shower naked before entering any of Iceland's lagoons. Everywhere, every time, no exception. It's not optional or just a polite suggestion. It's about hygiene, because everyone's using the same water. And don't worry, it's not as awkward as it sounds. All lagoons have gendered changing rooms, and most of them now have private shower cubicles, for if you're shy. But honestly, when in Iceland, be at one with nature, just embrace it. If you skip the shower, staff will absolutely call you out. You'll see signs everywhere reminding you to wash properly without your swimsuit. So just do it, it's part of the Icelandic experience. Next, hair and jewellery. The lagoon water, especially at the Blue Lagoon, is packed with minerals like silica. Fantastic for your skin, but absolutely brutal on your hair. Before you go in, tie your hair up and load it with conditioner. Most lagoons actually provide it in the showers, and when you get out, rinse it really well again. And here's one people forget. Don't wear silver jewellery, like don't. The minerals in the water will tarnish or even ruin it. Take off any rings, necklaces or bracelets before you go in, especially if they're sentimental. You don't need to bring loads with you. Most lagoons provide towels, but double check when you book. Some charge extra to rent them. You'll get a wristband when you arrive. This is your locker key, your entry pass and your payment method inside. You tap it to pay for drinks or snacks and you settle up when you leave, so no need to bring cash or cards poolside. A few tips on what not to bring. No glass, for obvious safety reasons. No food or big floats. Phones are fine, but I recommend putting yours in a waterproof case. The steam and splashes can damage them easily. Most lagoons also have swim up bars, and yes, they're great fun. Usually you're limited to around 3 alcoholic drinks, just to keep the atmosphere nice and safe. You'll use your wristband to order, then pay for what you've used when you leave. Super easy. Lagoon culture in Iceland is relaxed and peaceful. It's more spa than swimming pool. Keep voices down, no splashing and definitely no jumping in. It's all about unwinding, chatting and enjoying the scenery. Always shower again afterwards. That silica gets everywhere. I mean everywhere. And if you're visiting in the evening, take a moment to just float and look up. On a clear night, you might even catch the northern lights while you're in the water. It's incredible. A few more tips we learned the hard way. Bring a hairbrush or a comb. Your hair will feel stiff after the silica water. If you wear glasses, like me, take them off before going in. The steam fogs them up instantly. If you're planning to take photos, wipe your camera lens often as the mist can make everything look blurry. And if you're visiting in winter, bring flip-flops or sliders. Those outdoor floors get freezing, and most lagoons do put grit down to stop ice forming, which is great for safety, but absolutely brutal on your feet. So there you go. Shower naked, protect your hair, take off your jewellery, just relax and enjoy it. Iceland's lagoons are most of the relaxing, magical experiences you can ever have, if you do it right.
Everyone knows about the Blue Lagoon. It's basically the face of Iceland travel. But honestly, there are so many other incredible lagoons here. Hi, I'm Ryan, and I've spent way too much time soaking in Iceland's lagoons, all in the name of research. obviously. So today I'm sharing some of my favourites, what makes each one special and which might suit your trip best. Whether you're after a luxury spa, something peaceful and natural, or a wild dip out in nature. Let's start with the most obvious. The Blue Lagoon. It's right near Keflavik Airport, so it's perfect for your first or last day in Iceland. The water's that unreal, milky blue, rich in minerals and silica. You can slaver on a mud mask, grab a drink from the bar, or just float. Now, when you first step in, visibility can be pretty low because of all the steam, so you can barely see where you're going. But here's the most important thing that you only need to know. The bar is on the right. Once you've got your drink sorted, make sure to check out the sauna. It's tucked away, but absolutely worth it. Yes, it's touristy and quite pricey, but it's iconic for a reason. If it's on your first visit, it's a must-do. Next up, the Sky Lagoon. The Sky Lagoon is located just outside of Reykjavik, and this one is sleek, modern, and a bit more luxurious. The Infinity Edge looks straight out over the Atlantic Ocean. It is amazing at sunset. They've got a 7-step spa ritual, hot soak, cold plunge, sauna with ocean views, mist room, you name it, and a cheeky little cranberry drink thing. It's also adults only, so if you're looking for a calm, grown-up experience without the splashing or noise, this one is for you. It's usually less crowded than the Blue Lagoon, but it can get busy around sunset. Honestly, it's easy to see why. Watching the sun dip into the ocean from the edge of the pool is magical. So, if you want a proper spa experience without leaving the city, this is kind of it. Then we've got the Secret Lagoon. The Secret Lagoon is just located in Fluvia, Iceland's oldest natural pool. It's smaller, rustic, and surrounded by bubbling hot springs and steam vents. It's cheaper, super laid back, and it's right on the Golden Circle route, so it's a perfect stop within your waterfalls and geysers. You'll find some locals here just relaxing because it is proper authentic. Just a heads up though, the changing facilities here are all communal with no private cubicles. If that's not your thing, maybe just pick another lagoon, but honestly, communal changing is a total normal part of Icelandic tradition. It's cleanliness and respectful. So if you do visit somewhere with shared facilities, just get on with it. Nobody's looking at you and everyone's there for the same reason. Just down the road from Fluvia is Lagoon, one of Iceland's newest spots, and it's only just opened, literally just. It's modern, beautifully designed and surrounded by trees and open countryside. It's got that peaceful spa-like vibe, but still feels quite connected to nature with its ongoing views. Now, we haven't been yet because it's only just opened, but we are heading there in January and we've already pre-booked it, so we can't wait. Right now, the price is quite cheap for the experience you get, and we reckon that what they're doing is trying to draw people in, so take advantage of that whilst it's cheap, because the price will definitely creep up once more people discover it. Now, if you're heading north, check out Mývatn Nature Baths, the Blue Lagoon's northern cousin. Still the same stunning blue water, but surrounded by volcanic mountains and way fewer tourists. It's got a stronger sulphur smell, but that is normal, and to be fair, you do kind of ignore it, but that's part of the charm. At sunset, when the steam rises against the hills, it is unreal. Also up north near Akureyri is the Forest Lagoon. It's tucked away into the trees with incredible mountain views, a totally different feel to all the other lagoons. There are warm pools, fire pits and a bar built right into the water. If you visit in winter when it's snowing, it feels like soaking in a fairy tale. Over in the west, Europe's most powerful hot spring, you'll find Krona. It's sleek black stone, modern designs and pretty chill. You can move between hot and cold pools, enjoy the steam rooms or grab something local from their restaurant. It's calm, beautiful and perfect for a quiet afternoon. And then you've got Hvammsvík, our absolute favourite. It's around 45 minutes from Reykjavik, tucked away in the fjords, and honestly it is the most perfect blend of nature and comfort. There are multiple pools at different levels and temperatures, so you can wander between them, and some are piping hot. Others warm and others quite shallow, and a few sit right on the water's edge. The best bit of this is that you can literally walk straight from the hot spring into the icy cold water before hopping back into the warmth. The tide comes in and out throughout the day, so the pools actually change slightly depending on when you visit. So it is a unique experience. Our recommendation is to book the 10 or 10:30 a.m. slot. It's usually really quiet then, and the water feels extra refreshing first thing in the morning. It is such a peaceful way to start the day, and honestly, it just sets you up perfect for whatever you've got planned straight after. There's a bar, a sea sauna, and outdoor showers with views over the fjord. It feels wild and luxurious at the same time, the kind of place that you could spend hours just soaking in and watching the scenery change. And of course, Iceland is full of natural hot springs scattered all across the island. Some are quite easy to reach right off the road, while others need a little bit of hiking. They're completely natural, warm rivers and rocky pools tucked into the landscapes. If you find one when it's quiet, it is honestly magical. Hot water, cold air, steam rising, and maybe snow on the hills depending on your time of year, but they're not always obvious to see or marked. So if you want to find the best spots, drop us a message and we'll happily share some local tips with you. In my opinion, to truly experience Iceland, you have to visit at least one lagoon as part of your trip. It is such a big part of the culture here. Relaxation, social and completely unforgettable. If you can, we always recommend going in the morning or evening rather than in the middle of the day. Most lagoons are quite flexible with their opening hours, so it's easy to plan around them. That way then you can make the most of your daylight hours. Go for a soak when it's quiet and you still have the rest of the day free to explore. Trust us, it's a simple change that makes your whole day feel longer and way more relaxed. And before you jump in, remember, you do need to shower completely naked at first, for hygiene reasons. It's totally normal in Iceland and part of their proper lagoon etiquette.
Before we spent over 40 days exploring Iceland, before the lagoons, the waterfalls, the northern lights and all the trips we've taken since, there was one journey that started it all, our very first time in Iceland. We booked it on a whim, 5 days in January, hardly any daylight, freezing temperatures and absolutely no idea what to expect. And yet this trip completely changed everything for us. From driving in Iceland for the first time, to seeing our first Icelandic waterfall, to floating in the Sky Lagoon at sunset, to feeding Icelandic horses on the side of the road, discovering hidden gems we never knew existed, and standing in the absolute stillness of the place we didn't even know were real. This trip was the reason we fell in love with the land of fire and ice. In this video, we're taking you with us day by day through every moment of that first adventure. What we did, what we saw, the mistakes we made, the places we loved, and at the end, exactly how much the entire trip cost us. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey that started our obsession with Iceland. And if you're planning your own Iceland trip, this might just be the perfect place to start. Let's go. So let's start right at the beginning. January the 21st, Ryan's birthday, and the day we flew to Iceland for the very first time. We flew from Gatwick with EasyJet on a 7 AM flight, and because we'd driven down from the Midlands the night before, I slept pretty much through the entire flight. So when I woke up, we were already descending into Keflavik, and that moment will always stay with me. Looking out the window was one of the best feelings in the world. The sky was just starting to lighten with a tiny hint of sunrise, but below us you could see all the town lights glowing in the darkness. It just didn't feel real. It was quite magical. We were so excited, but honestly, we were also quite nervous. We'd watched every video, read every blog, packed every layer imaginable, and we still had no idea what to expect. I think I was definitely more nervous than Ryan because I had to drive in a different country for the first time in my life. But we landed, we breezed through arrivals with just our hand luggage as we'd only come for 5 days and we were pretty much wearing what felt like 6 layers each. We were preparing for Arctic conditions, and then we stepped outside Keflavik and realised it wasn't actually that cold. We were both roasting. Layers came off instantly. Honestly, it was proper overkill. We found the car hire rep holding the sign and he led us out to a minibus waiting outside and drove us to the office of the car hire rental. That ride to the rental office was our first look at Iceland, and honestly it completely blew us away. White everywhere, snow covering every open space, that huge, vast, endless landscape honestly felt like another planet. At the car hire office, I handed over my ID, our booking reference and credit card, and then the moment of truth. They handed us the keys. And suddenly I was driving in Iceland. A new country, new car, wrong side of the road. What could go wrong? But honestly, once you get going, you realise it's actually really easy and straightforward. Just take it slow, focus, and you'll be fine. So our first stop was Reykjavik. We parked down by the Sun Voyager and went for a little wander, and it just felt surreal seeing everything we'd only ever seen online in person. Ryan insisted in checking out an Icelandic supermarket straight away to see what vegetarian food you could find, priorities obviously, and at around 3 o'clock we had our booking at the Sky Lagoon. It was perfectly timed for sunset. It was busy but absolutely beautiful, just floating in the warm water, drink in hand, watching the sunset over the Atlantic. That was the exact moment we fell in love with Iceland. After the Sky Lagoon, we drove to our hotel in Reykjavik, about 40 minutes away. Driving in the dark with snow starting to fall again felt a bit intimidating, but we just took it slow and it was absolutely fine. We checked into Hotel Ork, dropped the bags and headed straight to Bonus, which is just around the corner, for some drinks, snacks, bread, butter and cheese, all the essentials, so we could make packed lunches for the next day's adventure. By this point, the exhaustion hit us hard. Travelling, waking up early, flying, exploring, driving for the first time in Iceland, it all caught up with us. So we headed back to the hotel and went to bed pretty early. We slept like logs, warm, tired and very excited, ready for a big day 2. Now day 2 started bright and early, well, early but not so bright. We woke up around 8 AM and it was still completely pitch black outside. It was also -7, which hit us the second we checked the weather. Welcome to Iceland in January, I suppose. So we headed down for breakfast at the hotel and then we went back to the room to wrap up and get ready for our first proper day of adventure in Iceland. Stepping outside into that freezing air, getting into the car and driving out into the darkness felt surreal. And then as we got further down the road, the sun slowly started rising behind the mountains and lighted up the snowy landscape. It was beautiful. Honestly, it felt like something out of a film. So our first stop was Kvernefoss, which sits right next to Skógafoss, but it's often completely overlooked. We parked up, walked along the track between the rocks, and then around the corner we saw our first ever Icelandic waterfall, and it absolutely took our breath away. Ryan was completely mesmerised. He just stopped in his tracks and stared at it. We walked as close as we safely could, but it was extremely icy, so we didn't push it too far. We did, however, make it right down to the river and even tried some of the glacier water. It's ice cold, fresh, and honestly tastes so clean. Then we headed to the big one, Skógafoss. No matter how many photos or videos you see, nothing prepares you for standing in front of it. It's just huge, powerful, loud, but even then, we still felt like Kvernefoss doesn't get the attention it really deserves. As we got closer to Skógafoss, the morning sunshine hit the spray and the rainbow appeared right in front of us. Ryan was completely taken aback, one of those moments where you just stand and stare. Next, we drove back towards Seljalandsfoss. Now, I really like this waterfall because it's iconic and it's quite easy to get to. But Ryan, he doesn't really rate it as much. And that's okay. Iceland will always give you favourites for different reasons. And then just a few minute walk away from Seljalandsfoss is Blúabotn, the hidden waterfall inside the cave. Now this one was pure magic. It's like walking through the little stream, squeezing between the rocks, and then suddenly you find this waterfall hidden away from the world. It is beautiful. Now it can be pretty slippery and icy in the winter, so waterproof boots are a must. My joggers even froze solid after this one. That's how cold it was. Then after warming up in the car, we drove down to Reykjavik, a quiet little coastal village with a beautiful black sand beach. That day, blocks of ice had washed up onto the shore and we sat there watching the most incredible orange sunset melt into the sea. It was a proper wow moment. Now by this point, we were starving, so we headed back to Reykjavik for dinner. And just around the corner from the hotel, we found the nicest little eatery. We ordered a large pizza, which was pretty big, fries and 2 refillable drinks, and the whole lot came to around £18 for the both of us. Absolute bargain for Iceland. After that, we headed back to Hotel Ork, completely exhausted, buzzing from everything we'd seen. That was the end of our first full day in Iceland, and we were already excited to dive straight into day 3. So day 3 started in the best possible way. We had a surprise blanket of snow. We headed out to the car around 9 AM, and overnight Iceland had transformed completely. There was a huge amount of snowfall, and as the designated driver, I very quickly delegated the job of clearing all that snow off the car to Ryan. He wasn't thrilled, but honestly he did a great job. sort of. So our first stop of the day was the Secret Lagoon. It's one of Iceland's oldest natural lagoons. And just head up, if you are going, the change rooms are completely communal with no private cubicles, so it's worth knowing beforehand. We were the only people in the lagoon for the first 45 minutes and it was honestly magical. The water is naturally heated by a geothermal spring and you can swim up pretty close to it as well and watch it bubble and erupt every so often. We stayed in there for about an hour and a half, just floating, relaxing and soaking in the snowy scenery around us. It was peaceful, quiet and exactly what you imagine an Icelandic hot spring to be. After we got out, we walked around the lagoon on the wooden walkways to look at all the little hot springs dotted around. Then it was back to the car because today was Golden Circle Day. Our first stop, the Geysir Hot Springs. So we parked up and walked into the geothermal park until we found the main attraction, Stróku. You can always tell which one it is because there's just a crowd of people standing in a circle with their phones ready, waiting for that huge eruption. And when it erupts, it is honestly incredible. The power, the sound, the water shooting into the air, it just never gets old. And after seeing that a few times and wandering around, we then headed back into the Geysir Centre, which has a cafe, a homeware shop, loads of souvenirs and a 66 degrees north store. Now, if you don't know, 66 degrees north is Iceland's version of the North Face, but better, as you can tell. We love it, even if it can be on the expensive side. Next up was Lagfarten Fontana, where we'd booked the natural bread making experience through Get Your Guide. If we were to do this again, we'd definitely swap the order of the day round, so do Fontana first before Geysir and Gullfoss, because we had to drive back and forth between the stops and they are on the same road. But the experience itself was amazing. So they showed us how they dig the bread up from the ground after it's been baking underground using geothermal heat for 24 hours, and we even got to try the warm rye bread with Icelandic butter and fresh smoked trout from the lake. Ryan didn't try the trout as he is vegetarian. And even though Fontana has a hot spring spa, we didn't go in, we were saving that for another trip. After Fontana, we headed to Gullfoss, one of Iceland's most iconic waterfalls. We parked at the top near the cafe and the gift shop, and even from the viewing platform at the top, it was just breathtaking. The scale of it doesn't hit you until you walk down the steps to the lower viewpoint. The power of that water, especially in winter, is unbelievable, just covered in snow. On the way back, we spotted a little farm by the side of the road with some Icelandic ponies. This was incredible. We pulled over and found a little honesty box where you could buy snacks to feed them. Now, this wasn't planned at all, we just came across it and it ended up being one of our favourite moments of the whole trip. They were so gentle and friendly and it was just such a wholesome, unexpected experience. By the time we got back to the hotel, we were completely exhausted. Driving, exploring the cold, fresh winter air and all the excitement. It all just catches up with you in Iceland. We fell into bed that night absolutely worn out and already dreading the fact that the next day was our last. Day 4 hit us the moment we opened our eyes. That sinking feeling you get when you realise it's your last full day somewhere you've fallen in love with. We went down for breakfast, got ready and headed out determined to soak up every second. We wanted a slower, more relaxed day after all the exploring we'd done, so we decided to head back into Reykjavik. The drive back was just as unbelievable as the first time. Fresh snow, white mountains, changing scenery, the cold blue light of winter. There were moments where we just sat in silence in the car, taking it all in, completely in awe of Iceland. It's one of those countries that makes you feel small, but in the best possible way. Our first stop was Grota Lighthouse. We drove all the way down to the end of the peninsula, parked up and walked across the beach. The tide was out, which meant we could walk all the way over to the lighthouse and around it. It was windy, like properly windy, but absolutely beautiful. Just waves, snow and that long stretch of black sand. After Grota, we headed back into Reykjavik for a wander. We explored the little gift shops and that's when we met Ophelia the cat. So she technically belongs to a neighbour, but apparently she loves to roam around and nap in icewear, usually on top of a pile of woolen scarves. If you're ever heading into Reykjavik and you go into icewear, you'll most probably see her fast asleep. She is real. And it's one of the cutest things ever. We walked around Hallgrímskirkja, took in the views of the colourful streets below, headed down to the Sun Voyager and explored the harbour. Just taking our time, enjoying the city without rushing. For a late lunch, we headed to Svarta Kafið and honestly it was the best meal of the entire trip. Soup in a bread bowl. Simple but unreal. A little on the pricey side but absolutely worth it. After that we started making our way back towards Vekadadi. But instead of taking the direct route, we decided to drive through Thingvellir National Park. That drive felt like stepping onto another planet. Cold, empty, desolate, but breathtaking all at once. This day had this eerie blue misty light, which made the whole place feel unreal. We parked and went for a walk through the park, saw the summer residence of the Icelandic Prime Minister, the little church beside it, and then headed to Waterfalls. The waterfall was beautiful, frozen edges, icy rocks, and that soft blue winter light over the whole landscape. It was one of those moments where you just stop talking and just look. As the lights started to fade, we headed back to the hotel one last time. Back to Hotel Ork. We packed our bags slowly, neither of us wanting the day to end. Iceland had completely captured us. The vastness, the beauty, the silence, the cold, the landscapes. You just can't explain it properly to someone who hasn't seen it in person. We went to bed that night knowing we'd fallen in love with the country we'd only just begun to understand. And we already knew we'd be back. Day 5 began with a feeling we hadn't quite expected. A kind of quiet sadness. We woke up knowing that in just a few hours we'd be heading home to normality. Back to work, back to routine. It felt strange because Iceland had always been one of those countries where we'd both dreamt about it for years. It was a one-day destination and suddenly we'd lived it and now it was coming to an end. But deep down, we both knew. We were coming back. Iceland has this way of sort of getting under your skin. It captivates you, slowly and completely. We left the hotel that morning, said goodbye to our little rent-a-car, which had genuinely become our companion over the last few days, and made one final drive back into Reykjavik. Even after 4 days of exploring, the views still stopped us in our tracks. Snow, mountains, open roads, we were still very much in awe with this country. Wandered around Reykjavik one last time, taking it in properly, the shops, the colours, the quiet winter atmosphere. We picked up a few souvenirs to bring home with us, little reminders of the trip that had ended up meaning far more than we'd expected. Eventually, it was time to head back to Keflavik. We dropped off the rental car, handed over the keys and got back into the minibus and headed back to the airport. And neither of us spoke the entire journey. We both just sat there staring out the window, catching every last glimpse of the landscape we'd completely fallen in love with. At the airport, we headed into departures, not realising until later that if you go through passport control, there are actually more shops and restaurants. Now, Keflavik Airport is actually pretty small, so we mostly just sat and waited for the flight, already missing the place. Then came the moment we just couldn't avoid. We boarded the plane, took our seats and took off back towards the UK, back to reality, back to everything we were used to. But we left Iceland with this unshakable feeling. This wasn't goodbye. This was just the beginning. One day we knew for sure we'd return to the land of fire and ice. Alright, before we wrap up this video, let's go through the bit everyone always wants to know. How much did our first trip to Iceland actually cost? So we were there for 5 days in January and we're going to break down every single thing we paid for. No surprises, no guesswork, just the real numbers. So the flights and hotel we booked through Love Holidays, which included our return flights from Gatwick, our 4 nights at Hotel Ork in Verkeredy, and all together that came to £604 for the two of us. We hired a car for all 5 days, including the full insurance package, which cost us £312. With all the driving we did, Reykjavik, the south coast, the Golden Circle, Thingvellir National Park, we spent £120 on fuel. We booked the Pure Pass at Sky Lagoon for the perfect sunset experience, which came to £174 for the both of us. And entry to the secret lagoon was about £60 for the two of us. We did the natural bread bacon experience at Lugvarten Fontana, and that cost around £50. Between meals out, snacks, packed lunches and supermarket bits and bobs, we spent around £250 on food and drink. Reykjavik parking and a few paid parking areas for Waterfalls and the National Park during sightseeing totaled roughly £40, bringing a grand total to £1,610 for the both of us all in. That's flights, hotel, car, fuel, lagoons, activities, food, literally everything. And looking back, we still can't actually believe how much we managed to fit into that budget, and every penny was worth it. This was the trip that made us fall in love with Iceland and the reason we keep going back. And that was our first ever trip to Iceland, the one that started it all for us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe and stick around for more Iceland travel hints and tips.
So you're dreaming of Iceland. Maybe you've seen those jaw-dropping photos of waterfalls, glaciers and lagoons on Instagram, and now you're thinking, right, I'm going. Well, before you book anything, here's what you need to know. Summer. June to August means 24 hours of daylight, puffins, green landscapes and great roads. Our favourite time of year? Winter. November to March is your best chance for the Northern Lights, but you'll get shorter days, icy roads and limited access to some areas. Spring and autumn, quieter, cheaper and still gorgeous, just know the weather is unpredictable all year round. Let's talk money, because Iceland is expensive. A pint, talk 10 quid. A simple dinner, 25 to 30 quid. Even petrol adds up, but it's worth every penny. You can save by booking Airbnbs, cooking a few meals yourself and focusing on nature, because most of all, Iceland's best experiences are completely free. Waterfalls, beaches, hikes and those incredible views. Look out for our video about how to visit Iceland on a budget. If you want to really see Iceland, rent a car. It's what we've always done. Public transport barely reaches the sites and tours get pricey fast. Just be confident driving in all weather and get insurance that covers gravel, roads and ash protection. But wind can also damage your doors, so be careful. Everyone speaks English near enough. You'll pay by card everywhere, so there's no need to carry cash. Tap to pay culture is huge, and yes, they drive on the right side of the road. My biggest tip, don't rush. Iceland isn't a checklist destination, it's a slow, jaw-dropping, every 5 minutes kind of place. Plan your route, book your lagoons ahead and give yourself space to stop whenever something pops up.
If you're planning your first trip to Iceland, packing can feel impossible. The weather changes every 10 minutes and you've got limited luggage space, and all the guides seem to contradict each other. So today I'm sharing with you our honest and no-nonsense packing list. We've done it ourselves and we learned what really works. Let's start with the weather, because this decides everything you pack. Iceland can go from sunshine to sideways rain and snow in the same hour. The trick is layering, but smart layering, not overpacking. You don't need 5 coats and endless thermals. Here is what we actually took. We had joggers, a t-shirt for every day, 1 thick jumper, a lightweight waterproof coat, and then a thicker outer coat for warmth. That combo kept us warm, dry and comfortable for the whole trip. We also wore big heavy items, our thick coats and waterproof walking boots on the plane to save space in our hand luggage. It's a bit of a pain at the airport, but it's worth it when your bag actually closes. Jeans and trainers, don't even bother. Jeans stay wet forever and trainers will be ruined on your first day, I can promise you that. We saw so many tourists with soaked feet at waterfalls, just don't do it. And umbrellas, completely pointless. Icelandic wind will destroy them in seconds. Accessories make all the difference. We both packed a woolly hat, gloves and a snood. A snood's great because you can pull it up when it's windy or snowing and you don't have to worry about it blown away like a scarf. Now let's talk about footwear, because the ground in Iceland is rough, icy and unpredictable. We wore waterproof walking boots, again, wore them on the plane to save room, and crampons. These are small spikes you strap onto your boots for icy paths. You can get them from loads of places. We bought ours from Amazon. Make sure you get chain style crampons. The first cheap pair that we bought were useless. Ryan's spikes literally fell out of the bottom while he was wearing them. Spend a little more and get a decent one. They'll last and actually keep you safe. Just remember, you will need to remove these crampons before going into any buildings, shops or restaurants, because they will damage the floor. Here's a quick list of what we actually came in handy every single day. A waterproof phone case, especially for the lagoons. You can still take photos without worrying about dropping it in the water. A UK to EU plug adapter. Iceland uses the 2-pin European plugs. Sunglasses, even in winter. Snow and sunlight reflect off the ground and it's surprisingly bright, especially when driving. Sandwich bags. We use these when we made packed lunches while driving to save money. Snacks. Icelandic petrol stations are so expensive. Grab some from the local supermarket. And your microfiber towel for your hot springs and lagoons. You'll want to be ready. A power bank if you're taking loads of photos. Outlets aren't always handy, so make sure you take one of those. And also a water bottle. All of Iceland's water is absolutely safe to drink. Fill it up as and when you can. The one thing we really wish we'd packed, wooden cutlery. Sounds random, but when you're out on long drives or picnicking at a viewpoint, it's so handy to have in the car. We had sandwich bags for lunches, but ended up trying to eat pasta salad with our fingers at one point, so yeah, don't skip that. If you're hiring a car, you can dress lighter while driving. We usually wore minimal layers in the car because some drives are long and being wrapped up in them thermals gets uncomfortable very fast. Then when we got to waterfalls, lagoons or beaches, we'd layer up quickly before heading out. That's one of the biggest benefits of having a car. You can keep your gear handy and adjust as you go. If you're not driving and doing tours instead, you'll want more layers on you, since you'll be outside longer with fewer warm breaks. Now, if you're flying with a budget airline, guide. Wear your heaviest items, your coat, your boots, jumper, and use your packing cubes in your case. It makes unpacking in different hotels or guest house much easier, especially if you're moving around Iceland. So that's our honest Iceland packing guide. Everything we took, what worked, and what we'd change next time. Hopefully this saves you from overpacking or wasting money on gear you'll never use.
I hate to say it, but don't go to Iceland just for the Northern Lights. Here's the truth. Seeing the aurora depends entirely on the weather, solar activity, and luck. You can spend a whole week or even longer in Iceland in winter and not see a single flicker. And that's totally normal and okay. There's just so much more to Iceland than just the Northern Lights, you'll be surprised. We've actually been in Iceland for over 40 days in total now across multiple different trips, and we've only seen the Northern Lights 3 times. Each time has been completely different and completely unforgettable. The first time we saw them was just outside of Reykjavik in Hafnarfjörður, and we spotted this faint green shimmer through our hotel window and instantly jumped in the car to find somewhere darker. But by the time we got there, they had disappeared. That was our first taste, gone as quickly as it appeared. Literally, they can disappear so quickly. The second time was at Grotto Lighthouse in Reykjavik, and honestly, it was pure luck. We were just there one evening and noticed the sky starting to glow faintly. At first, it was barely visible, a light greenhouse, and then slowly it grew brighter enough that we could actually capture it on our phones. It was cloudy that night, but still magical. The third time was one we will never forget. We'd just been to the bookstore bar, also known as Húsmals og Menningar, right in the centre of Reykjavik. A definite must-go-to bar if you're in the area. The Aurora app was showing high activity, so we thought, why not? Let's go down to the lighthouse again just in case. We parked up, got out the car, and there they were. Faint but visible with our own eyes. Over the next hour, they grew brighter and brighter until the whole sky was alive and green. Dancing light, it honestly took our breath away. I might have cried a little bit, but Callum definitely did. Now, when it comes to chasing the aurora, patience and perseverance are everything. You need dark skies, clear weather, and a bit of solar luck. And just because the aurora outside high activity doesn't mean you'll actually see them. And if you do, they might not look exactly like how you do on Instagram. Cameras pick up colours that the human eye just can't see. We found the best and most accessible spot around Reykjavik is down by the Grotto Lighthouse. It's only a 10-minute drive or roughly an hour's walk from the city centre. Take plenty of snacks, hot drinks and warm layers, and expect to wait. We waited inside the car and I had a vodka. Or 2? Actually 4 or 5. So I definitely saw something even if it wasn't the lights. We went there most nights on the off chance that we might see them. The walk from the car park down to the black sand beach is uneven and completely unlit, so take care. Give your eyes time to adjust once you're away from streetlights, and please don't be that person who switches on a bright torch and ruins the moment for everybody else. The atmosphere down there is something else. You're standing on a pitch black beach hearing nothing but the sea lapping the shore, occasional gasps from someone spotting the first flicker of green, and suddenly the sky just becomes alive. It's one of those experiences you can't describe, you just feel it. It's amazing to capture the moment on camera, of course, and you'll want to share it with your friends and family, but don't spend the whole time staring through your phone trying to get the perfect shot. Just take a few pictures and then just stop, look up and feel it. Yes, it can be really cold, but nobody visits Iceland for the weather. There's something about standing under that dancing light that's completely humbling. It's one of those moments that you'll never forget, and one that you might never get to see again. If you don't drive, don't worry. You can still try and spot them. People often gather by the Sun Voyager or walk down to the harbour and look out to sea where it's completely dark. There are also plenty of Northern Lights tours available. We haven't done any of them ourselves, but just remember it's nature, not a guarantee. The weather here changes fast, and even if the activity is high, clouds can block everything. Most tour companies will let you go again the next night if you don't see them, but if you're only here for a few days, that can be quite tricky. This is why we always recommend hiring a car, drive out to somewhere dark, and it's so worth it. So yeah, don't go to Iceland just for the Northern Lights. Go for the landscapes, the lagoons, the waterfalls, the black sand beaches, and the other worldly beauty this place has to offer. Because if the lights do decide to show up, it'll feel like the cherry on top of an already magical trip.
If you love waterfalls, Iceland will absolutely ruin you in the best way possible. There are so many that after a few days you'll start thinking, oh, another one. But trust me, these ones are unmissable. They're the kind of waterfalls that make you stop the car, grab your camera and just stare. Hi, I'm Callum, and today I'm sharing what I think are the most beautiful waterfalls in Iceland, how to find them, what to expect, and a few tips to make the most of each stop. From the famous ones you've seen on Instagram to the quiet, hidden gems, these are the ones you need to add to your Iceland itinerary. Let's start with Seljalandsfoss, one of the most famous and photographed waterfalls in Iceland. It's tall, dramatic, and the best part is you can actually walk behind it. You'll get absolutely soaked, but it's 100% worth it. Bring waterproofs and good boots because the rocks behind the waterfall can get slippery, especially if it's windy. The best times to visit are early morning or late evening. The light hits the falls beautifully, and there are far fewer tour buses around. If you can, stay somewhere nearby so you can pop back for sunset. It's magical. Just a note that walking behind this waterfall can become inaccessible during the winter months. Just a 5-minute walk from Seljalandsfoss is one of my favourite hidden spots, Bluraboy, also known as the Hidden Waterfall. It's tucked inside a canyon, so you have to walk through a shallow stream to reach it, so wear waterproof shoes or just accept your feet are going to get wet. You step inside this mossy cave and suddenly you're standing in front of this thundering waterfall pouring down through the rocks. It's such a cool experience and a lot of people miss it because it's literally around the corner from Seljalandsfoss. Next up is Skógafoss, one of Iceland's most iconic waterfalls and honestly one of my personal favourites. It's massive, 60 metres tall and so powerful that you can hear it before you even see it. You can walk right up to the base, but again, bring your waterproofs, the spray is intense. To the right of the falls, there's a staircase with around 500 steps that takes you to a viewing platform at the top. From there, you can also stare at the Skóga River Trail, which follows the river upstream past dozens of smaller waterfalls. It's one of the most underrated walks in the country. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a rainbow in the spray. It's one of those classic magical Iceland moments. While you're at Skógafoss, don't skip Kvennafoss. It's just a 5-minute drive away and often completely overlooked. It's tucked behind a small farm and a short walk through a green valley, and it honestly feels like something out of a fairy tale. You can walk right up to it and even behind it, just like Seljalandsfoss, but without the crowds. The walk there is quite easy and it's quiet, and you'll probably be the only ones there, maybe a handful of people. It's one of those, wow, how is this not more famous moments. Next up, Gullfoss, part of the Golden Circle and one of Iceland's most powerful waterfalls. It's made up of 2 huge drops that crash into a deep canyon, and it genuinely looks like the earth is splitting open. There are 2 car parks, one at the top near the cafe and a gift shop, and another lower down. I recommend parking at the top where we always park. It's where the main viewpoint is, and then walking down the steps to see it from below. It's completely free to visit, but be careful in winter. The steps and paths can get icy and covered in snow. Further east, inside Skaftafell National Park, you'll find Svartifoss, or the Black Falls. It's surrounded by black basalt columns that look like organ pipes, and it's one of the most unique waterfalls in Iceland. It's about a 45-minute round trip hike, but the trail is well marked and you'll pass a few smaller waterfalls on the way. Definitely wear hiking boots. It can be uneven, but the view when you get there is incredible. It's not the biggest waterfall, but the setting makes it so special. Now for a real hidden gem. Hrunfossa is one of our absolute favourites. It's completely different from any other waterfall in Iceland because instead of one big drop, it's made up of hundreds of small streams trickling out of a lava field into a bright blue river below. There are wooden bridges and paths that let you walk across and see it from different angles. It's peaceful, scenic, and a photographer's dream. If you're doing a road trip around the west, it's definitely worth a stop, and you can easily pair it with Barnafoss, another waterfall just a short walk away, the one we didn't get to because we got stuck in snow. So there you go, the most beautiful waterfalls in Iceland, from the famous to the hidden. Obviously not an expensive list. If you only have a few days, these are the ones to prioritise. Each one is completely different, from sheer power to quiet beauty, and honestly there's something about Iceland's waterfalls, the sound, the mist, the scale, it never gets old, no matter how many you see. If you head into Iceland, the Golden Circle is one route you absolutely need to experience. It's one of the most famous and accessible drives in the country, packed with waterfalls, geysers, and incredible scenery. And it's the perfect introduction to what makes Iceland so special. Hi, I'm Callum, and in this video, I'm breaking down Iceland's Golden Circle, what it is, where it goes, and all the best stops you shouldn't miss. We drove the full route ourselves, and I'll share our favourite hidden spots, parking tips, and even where we stopped to try bread baked in the ground. Whether you're driving it yourself or joining a tour, this route is pure Icelandic magic. The Golden Circle is a roughly 230-kilometre loop that starts and ends in Reykjavik. It includes 3 main attractions: Thingvellir National Park, Geysir Hot Springs, and Gullfoss Waterfalls. But there are loads of little extras you can add along the way. The beauty of doing it yourself is that you can take your time, pull over for photos, and stop whenever something catches your eye, which, trust me, happens a lot in Iceland. First stop, Thingvellir National Park. This is where 2 continents, the North American and Eurasian, meet, and you can walk between the tectonic plates. It's Iceland's first national park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's full of history. If you're feeling adventurous, you can snorkel in Silfra, the fissure between the plates. It's absolutely freezing, but the visibility underwater is unreal, around 100 metres clear. While you're here, make a quick stop at a lesser known spot, Waterfalls. It's a quiet, hidden waterfall that's really peaceful and often missed by tourists. The walk to it overlooks the national park, and you can also get up close to Thingvellir Church and the Icelandic Prime Minister's summit residence. It's definitely worth the short detour. Next up, the Geysir Geothermal area. This is where the word Geysir actually comes from. The main attraction here is Strokku, which erupts boiling water around 30 metres into the air every few minutes. It's amazing to watch. You'll definitely smell the sulphur, and it's a good idea to have your camera ready because the eruptions are fast. There's a large car park at Geysir, but unlike some other stops, you do have to pay for parking here. Across the road is the Geysir Centre, which has an excellent cafe, restaurant, and one of the best gift shops we've found on this route. Perfect place to warm up, grab a drink, or browse for souvenirs before heading off again. Not far from Geysir, we stopped off at Lagoon Fontana, a beautiful lakeside spa and geothermal area. It's a great place to take a break if you've got time, and it's also where we saw traditional Icelandic rye bread being baked underground using the natural geothermal heat. We even got to try some, served with warm butter and a fresh smoked trout caught straight from Fontana Lake. Honestly, it was delicious. It's a fun little experience that not many people know about. And finally, Gullfoss, one of Iceland's most famous and powerful waterfalls. It's made up of 2 tiers that plunge into a deep canyon, and the force of it is just incredible. Make sure you've got a waterproof jacket, as the spray can reach you even from the top viewing platform. There are actually 2 car parks here, one at the very top near the gift shop and the restaurant, and another one lower down. Every time we've been, we've always parked in the top car park, where there are toilets, the cafe, and a short path that leads to the upper viewpoint. From there, you can take steps down to the lower level for a completely different perspective. Just a quick safety note, during the winter months, the paths and steps can be icy or closed off, so take extra care if you're visiting between November and March. Unlike Geysir, parking at Gullfoss is completely free. Now, if you've got a bit more time, you can also stop at the Etiquette crater, a stunning red volcanic crater lake, especially beautiful when the sun hits it. There's a small entry fee, but it's worth seeing if you're nearby. Driving the Golden Circle is really straightforward. The roads are well maintained, but always check road.is and safetravel.is before you head out, especially in the winter, just to be safe. So that's the Golden Circle. A route packed with waterfalls, history, hot springs, and incredible views. It's a must-do whether it's your first trip to Iceland or your 5th, and every time you drive it, you will find something new.
YouTube thinks you would love to watch this video next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.